How, when people are feeling these really tense emotions when it comes to market volatility, how can they encourage themselves to be aware of those emotions and explore those emotions more fully?
Mm, okay. I think in this particular case also, it reminds me of the work of Pema Chodron, who's a Buddhist monk and teacher, and she's written a ton of books. And my favorite book is called When Things Fall Apart.
Mhm.
And so actually, so I very, like, I almost hardly talk about money because it's like, okay, the money issue brought up an existential crisis. And what it brings up is, oh, actually, nothing is for sure. Nothing in life is for sure. And we go along and we make these constructs that, like, well, I know what this coffee is going to taste like and I know what I'm going to wear. And we kind of go along convincing ourselves that I know what's going to happen. And we spend a lot of energy doing that because actually we know deep down that nothing's for certain. And but from a Buddhist standpoint, a Buddhist says exactly. And when you embrace the fact that there's everything is uncertain, that there's sort of actually a groundlessness in how we walk in this world, when we say, ah, I understand that things are uncertain, I've got me, I've got the present moment, I have my breath, that's all you have. And you could go two ways with that. You could either be like fatalistic and nihilistic about it, or you can be like, ah, yeah. So what I find that money issues are a trailhead, a little like, hey, here's a thing to go down the path of there's an existential issue going on here, right? That actually nothing's for certain. And I would wonder for this client, depending on their age, we're talking mortality, right? We're talking being able to care for themselves. We're talking about safety. Money always has to do with safety. And those are the deeper themes coming up that, like, oh, part of me actually knows that nothing is for certain. And then I just saw it on a graph. And that is freaking me out because I thought I could depend on that graph telling me that everything's okay. And then the graph goes boop. And so what it actually brings up is that we all kind of know that nothing's for certain. So this is, I mean, I'm getting really big and existential, but I
Yeah, no.
actually think that that's what's going on. That's the fear. And I think to normalize, yeah, that has got to be scary. Nothing is for certain. Even the most conservative portfolio is subject to market conditions. So
Yeah.
what do we know, right? Sometimes we leave our body a little bit. So that's actually what I like. I would come back to the body. Where are we in our body? Are we in our breath? This is what we know. All we know is the present moment. It's actually like these Buddhist philosophies apply so well to money. Like, what do we know now, right now?
Yeah.
Huge answer to like kind of a simple question, but that's where my mind goes and how I would want to be with someone is I think a financial professional like you and me, we are more comfortable with uncertainty. And that is incredibly healing for a client who is not comfortable with uncertainty. I'm okay that this is uncertain and this is why. And that's a healing exchange that we can have with our clients.
That's fascinating. It sounds like you're saying from a certain standpoint, it's never about the money, that it's always about some larger, thing that goes to the very core of somebody.
That's exactly it. It's sort of like money touches everything. So there's always some kind of financial component, but money actually brings up the unfinished business. That's how I see it as, because I come at this from a mental health perspective first. And yeah, I've been describing it lately a lot as a trailhead. It's like there's a little sign here. There's a path we need to follow here that, yeah, doesn't have to do with the money, but the money has brought it up.
Yeah.
And it's really helpful. Like, money will bring up an issue in a relationship for sure. Right. And they're going to follow that down like, oh, I think we got things worked out except for this one thing. And the money brings up, yeah, it's because, some stuff about my childhood or, some certain lived experience that actually needs to be worked through. So, and I absolutely will spend time with a spreadsheet, but that's usually after the fact, after we kind
Mhm.
of sit in these bigger ideas about what this money issue has brought up for us.